Good morning and welcome to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter, the show that takes a look at the events and what's happening all around Putnam County, as well as interviews with local, community, and business leaders. And now, sharing his insights and experience, here's Today in Putnam County with County Mayor Randy Porter.
Thanks, Philip Gibbons, and thank you for joining us today. Wow, 2024 is already here. I hope you're having a happy new year. Hope you're having a great beginning to this year. I hope 2024 is a great year for you and you get many of God's blessings. We're looking forward to a great year in Putnam County. 2023 was a really good one, and we hope that 2024 will be too. Starting our 6th year on the show Today in Putnam County. Thank you for joining us every weekend. You're the reason that the show has been so successful, and we're very appreciative. This week's show, it's about one of our greatest assets, and that's our students, our kids, school students. And we're talking about a great nonprofit called the Putnam Education Partnership, better known as PEP, and what they provide to a large group of our school students. This week, my guests are Katelyn Steakley. She is Executive Director of PEP, and Rachael Stiles. She is PEP's Board President. Good morning, ladies.
Thank you for having us today.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk about this. Katelyn, you came to Rotary the other day, and we were talking about PEP, and I've known about it for a long time, but didn't realize how big it had gotten and how important it is to our school students. And I think PEP's on probably its 12th year or so, but kind of explain to our listeners, what is PEP and what does it do on a weekly basis?
Yeah, so I actually call PEP one of the best kept secrets in Putnam County because it has been ran for years and years by different church groups who pack backpack bags for children in need to take home food on the weekends. And that's kind of how it actually was a teacher grant program in the beginning. And then things changed and the need was filled a different way through providing food for children. But I consider PEP one of the best kept secrets in Putnam County. PEP started over 12 years ago, and it was originally started as a teacher grant program. And then things changed and shifted, and they started taking over backpack programs here in the community. Currently, we have over 800 students that receive backpack food weekly. And just to clarify, the backpack program is not backpacks. It is a food bag that goes in children's backpacks to take home on the weekend. Yeah. It's supposed to kind of be something that's secretive and quiet so that people don't know about it. In the beginning, it was primarily funded by churches, but things have changed. Inflation has changed things, and how, numbers have went up, cost has went up, and we've really started trying to advocate again for the program and make sure that it's fully funded. And so whenever I was at Rotary, that is what we were talking about. And we have had such a good experience this holiday season, really getting the word out about that. And so I really appreciate you having us today so that we can share more about PEP, the things that we're doing, and where we're planning on going.
Yeah. Well, Rachael, it's to think in 2024 that we have students, kids, that go hungry on the weekends and don't have enough to eat. I mean, we're all blessed in this community to live in such a great community, but sometimes we have our blinders on when we're going down the road, don't we? And we're seeing what's going on in our lives and our busy lives, and we're not paying attention sometimes to the folks that are in need. So we got these kids in school that live in family lives and of no fault of their own. Right. I mean, that don't have enough food. Maybe they're living in a single parent household where mom or dad can't work enough jobs to do everything, and there's all kinds of circumstances out there. But we've got this program that's willing to help those folks. I mean, doesn't that speak great about our community?
Absolutely. So removing barriers for students, just all that worry of, between Friday's lunch at school and Monday's breakfast. Is there enough in the pantry to hold me over? So the fact that PEP can remove those barriers and connect not only the student needs, identifying them and understanding them, but connecting to the community to say, hey, community, can you help? Because my sister has been a teacher in Putnam County School, and from afar, I would hear the stories, and I would just want to cry with her, and I would wonder, well, what can I do? Yeah. At the time I didn't live here. At the time I didn't know what to do. So if I knew about PEP then, I would immediately share money. Yeah. Knowing that it would get into the families that were in need at that time. So I love it. I'm so proud of PEP. I'm so proud of the community.
Well, and so these children probably are on free lunch, they get breakfast and lunch most of the time at school. So they're being taken care of Monday through Friday by the school system, by our tax dollars. It's the weekends, though, where you're having a problem, or when you're on school break, I guess. Katelyn, like 2 weeks for Christmas break, and that's a hard time. But you're sending this food home with them to make sure that they at least have got something to eat.
Yes, they'll get food. They got food yesterday. All the schools sent home food yesterday that we serve, and that'll at least give them something. I know a lot of families also utilize Food to the Rescue, which I feel is like an important gap filler as far as food service goes for children, and they fill in kind of that gap if the families know about it. So we do try to send flyers home for their program yearly so that families can enroll and register so that they can get that service if they need it during the breaks. I will say that Christmas break, people do travel. Like they try to save money. They try to go visit family. There is more of a community aspect. So I'm probably less worried about the actual holiday season just because there is so much. It's the other breaks that stress me and probably our board out. This past year, we started serving during summer school, which was a significant change, which I think we served, I can't remember, I want to say it was like over 1,000 meals during summer school to students weekly, which we thought it wouldn't go that well, but it was heavily utilized by those students and families so that they had extra. So really this summer, it was just a lie that if they weren't in a building, they didn't have something. But that's our goal, is because we know that when kids show up and they're nourished, that they're able to learn better than if they don't. So the goal is to provide some sort of ability for them to not be in starvation and fight and flight mode when they return to a classroom on Monday.
You can't learn if you're hungry. We're talking with Katelyn Steakley and Rachael Stiles this week. It's about PEP. That is the Putnam Education Partnership, and it helps our students that may live in difficult situations at home, that don't have food on the weekends to be able to eat. They're sending food home with them, and it's a non-profit organization that's been put together, and it's funded by donations coming from churches and community sponsors and different ones. Second Harvest Food Bank, Katelyn, is a big part of this, right?
Yes, sir. So Second Harvest provides us with a grant annually to serve. This year they covered 275 children, which their ability to serve dropped a little bit this year. I think we had 300 children covered last year, so we had to make up for those. They also cut a month off just for their own. They were having trouble too funding programs, and so things changed with that. They ebb and they flow, but Second Harvest is a huge piece of the puzzle. They are basically for those people who don't know what Second Harvest is. Second Harvest is basically a nonprofit food distribution company out of Nashville. They are a nonprofit, but they also operate just like a food distributor. And so when you see produce or something that's about to go out of date at local grocery stores, their goal is to reduce food waste and food insecurity. And so that's their two main goals, and they do that multiple ways. And we are luckily one of the recipients of some of their backpack program funding. So that's a huge help for us, but that still leaves us quite a few students that we have to cover.
Got a big gap there to fill, don't you?
A big gap there to fill. And so we rely on, like you said, churches. Our churches are huge. Our churches are mostly who pack our bags. I feel like that's why it's harder to get the word out, because we don't have a big packing event that we are coordinating. We have these amazing coordinators who have literally been doing this for almost a decade. These churches who do it inside their church buildings. They have backpack teams at their churches, and even organizations. Tutco and Cummins are two of our companies here locally that also have schools that they use as their volunteer hours inside of their organizations. And so we could not do it without them. So I do feel like that's why it's kind of the best kept secret, kind of like I said at the beginning, is just because it's well insulated with the people who do the work, and they've done it for such a long time, and we are so grateful for them.
Hey, today's show is about PEP. It's called the Putnam Education Partnership. My guest this week is Katelyn Steakley. She is the Executive Director of PEP. Rachael Stiles, she is the Board President. This program, a lot of folks may not know about it. It helps students in our school systems that are what we call food insecure, that they may not have enough food to go on weekends and during school breaks. So this PEP program sends food home with them, and it's a great program to be able to help these students. As we all know, Katelyn, students not doing any good if they got a empty belly, do they? And you just can't focus if you're hungry.
No, that's correct. We were discussing even at Rotary recently about kind of the statistics, and I'm going to share some of those and really kind of just highlight what the need food looks like. And so for us, I think I said this maybe already, but we're serving over 800 students here in Putnam County of 1,000 that are part of backpack programs throughout the district.
So we got what, 10, 11,000 students in Putnam County? So almost
over 11,000.
So about 8% or some of them, 7 or 8% is probably falling into this category, right?
Yes, so that's right at what the average is. But when we look at elementary schools, the average is much, much higher, which is in line with national statistics.
Yeah.
But for Putnam County, inside the elementary schools that we work in, there's 1 in 5 students, if we're looking at the total population, 1 in 5 elementary school students in Putnam County or in Cookeville area specifically are utilizing the backpack program.
Wow.
Which is just really, when you add that human touch to it, I feel like can help paint the picture and really understand that it's the kids sitting next to you at the park. It's the family that you see that walks into a restaurant that you know, or maybe just struggling that you don't know. And I think it can highlight the fact that, like, if you're looking around a room in Putnam County, there's a need. And it's funny.
You may not see it.
Right.
We get busy in our lives, but it's there.
It is there. And it's funny because I walked into one of the Tech Home opener basketball games, and this isn't really to do with backpack program, but I think it's something that can help put perspective for people that are listening. But I walked in and there was a kid there that was just, he was probably almost middle school age, but he was like, oh my gosh, I've never been to an arena. This is the most amazing thing ever.
Wow.
And I remember just thinking, like, oh my gosh, like, how much stuff do we take for granted that we do in our everyday lives as citizens of Putnam County, where we're able to take our kids to get ice cream, or we're able to take them out and do things with them. But that's not always the case for families here. And there's a lot more need than we realize.
So PEP started out as food. And of course, you start hearing about heard about the backpack program for a long time, and maybe other folks have too. And you think, well, it's this small little group of people, you know, that are going through hard times or whatever. But to think that 1 in 5 of these elementary school students are what you call food insecure, or when they go home on Friday night, they have no security that they're going to have something to eat on Saturday or Sunday.
They might or they might not.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, does that mean there's not food in the home ever? No, but it means that there's not reliable food.
Yeah.
And so this is a reliability, this is a security blanket.
You're guaranteeing that they're going to have something to eat.
There is something in that home.
Yeah.
Whether it, this weekend they eat pizza and they end up putting some of the cans up, that happens. That's fine. Yeah. That's totally acceptable. Maybe they end up using them for breakfast throughout the week if they actually had stuff, or food stamps came in, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's security. If you choose to give to PEP and to the backpack program, what you're providing is security for a child to know that there is something in their home that's going to be there. Yeah,
and we take a lot of that for granted. This week's show, folks, is about PEP. It's called the Putnam Education Partnership. My guests are Katelyn Steakley and Rachael Stiles. Guys, makes you think, my sister's a teacher, in another county in Middle Tennessee. Same issues, okay? This is not just a Putnam County issue. This is it's a countrywide issue, and it could be a worldwide issue, I'm sure, when you see all the news of things happening in other countries. But to think in 2024, in the society that we live in, that we wouldn't be having kids out there that are worried about whether they're going to have something to eat or not. But start thinking about the problems that have caused this. Hearing more and more drug issues is a big deal. Maybe mom or dad's in jail or prison, or grandparents are having to raise kids. Maybe that mom or dad's passed away. Got all kinds of hardships and single parents trying to raise multiple children and everything. And I guess as our county has grown, that issue's going to grow too, right?
Sure. Yeah. Well, and even the transition between one job to another, there's a gap.
Yeah.
And so how do we fill that gap? And I think even going beyond food insecurity, it's the entire instability that a child may face. Maybe it's, rent may go unmet. And so they feel it, they see it, they know that, we are at risk for having to move again.
Yeah.
Or will the electricity be turned off? Mom and dad are talking about that. And so there is that insecurity that they feel that absolutely gets in the way of learning. It gets in the way of application. So that's really where PEP can step in.
Do you get into the situation of some of these kids that they really need it, but they're not willing to accept it? Is that an issue?
Yes, we see an issue, especially in those middle and high school age students that are not willing to keep taking food. I suspect that it's really not 1 in 8. I would say across the district, it is probably 1 in 5. However, once we get into those older groups, less and less kids take food. We did make a significant change to how we serve those students. Over the past couple of years, we changed the menu and we changed things that we were serving to the middle school students. And we did have an increase in participation, which was really, it's not where we want it to be, but it's better than it was. And I think that that's admirable and something that we can all consider a win for our team. But we also put in food pantries in a couple of different schools that were not able to utilize the backpack program fully like would hope.
And so that means counselors, if they know a need, they can go directly to that pantry.
Don't have to call anybody or ask anybody.
And they're sitting across the table with a student and say, I got you. I can take care of that.
That is great. So if folks want to donate, this is a nonprofit project, and you take donations from churches and anybody that wants to donate. So tell folks how they can donate.
So you can donate by visiting www.pep.org. That's PEPTN.org. We have lots of ways to give online. You can find actually just to give to Backpack Program, or you can give to the organization as a whole, which I'm so excited to get into in just a few minutes about other things that PEP is doing. Or you can mail a check. Our address is at the Board of Education. It's PEP Foundation. You can mail it to the PEP Foundation at 1400 East Spring Street, and that is Cookeville, Tennessee 38506.
Folks, this is a great program. It's called PEP, the Putnam Education Partnership, helping a lot of our school students that are what's called food insecure, that may not have enough food to eat on weekends when they're out of school or on school break. So if you'd like to donate, check out that website. We're going to take a break. Talking this week with Katelyn Steakley and Rachael Stiles. They're with what's called the PEP program. It's called Putnam Education Partnership. They do a lot of things, but the main part, if you've heard of the backpack program, or that we're sending food home with kids that are food insecure and may not have enough food due to all kinds of circumstances on weekends and breaks and holidays and so forth. This program partners with a lot of folks. It's a nonprofit. Get donations that you can be a part of that we'll tell you about in a few minutes, and they help these kids because our kids can't learn if they're hungry. Guys, we were talking, one of the things that's hurt over the last year with you, I mean, you've got to buy this food. Inflation has hit us with food prices going up considerably. I mean, I'm sure that's hurt you in the program.
It absolutely hurts us. I know we discussed earlier that Second Harvest had reduced the number of children they were sponsoring, so that hit us. The other thing is inflation impacts families that are economically disadvantaged proportionally at a greater rate than the middle class and upper class families that are in our community. And so what you see is people that were kind of teetering on the edge. And there is a term that is used to describe families that are kind of on the edge like that, and it's called ALICE. It was coined by United Way, and it's called asset limited, income constrained, and employed, meaning that those families are the ones that are just one incident away from a problem or some sort of issue in their life that's going to throw them over the edge. And we serve a ton of those families. So those families, in addition to the families that are considered impoverished and in poverty, are disproportionately affected at a higher rate. So that increases not only our food costs, like you discussed just a second ago, it affects the other nonprofits that are also serving those same populations. So we saw the decrease of Second Harvest. We saw an increase in participation and an increase in food costs.
Wow.
So you add all that together, and I mean, it's just put a place. Previously, I will say that the program was primarily funded by churches, but this, in the past couple of years, that is just, we have to have more public support and public donors.
Your costs have went up so much. I mean, you just can't cover that.
You can't. So for us, it's a way to get the community more involved in the schools, which is a goal of our organization overall, but also to encourage people to come in and come alongside of us. I think that's the goal too. But you know, we do have mouths to feed, if you will, and we're looking for donors to help us do that. And so just a reminder that if your listeners want to give to the program, it's www.peptn.org. And you can go to /backpack or /giving150, and you can see all of our campaigns and stuff that we ran this past holiday season.
That's great. Rachel, it's not just about backpacks, though, right? PEP is a lot more. I mean, y'all are expanding into all kinds of other areas. Tell us about some of those.
Yeah, I think you can just logically flow from, okay, you know, food is not the only need a student might have. And so, you know, we do have emergency funding where we can, you know, meet an immediate need, whether it's, you know, a dental emergency, a medical emergency, or some other risk a student may face. So we can partner with, and we do partner with the district, as they have a family resource center and they have a pulse on those needs as well. So just collaboratively and together, we can meet those immediate needs. And even going further into providing resources to those counselors, you know, if there's maybe even beyond food, hygiene products
Yeah.
or
Clothes,
or,
yeah.
and the community really came together. Katelyn started, our community bin program this year, and I'm just so proud of that, just to see, Jerry would send students walking to school in the rain, in the sunshine, no matter. And
No
so
matter what.
let's give them some rain boots. Let's give them some raincoats to make sure that they're not soaking wet all day and distracted from learning.
That's right. And I had on recently the Tennessee Tech folks, and you don't think about this, but they have students that come to Tennessee Tech, scholarships, don't have a lot of extra money, that don't have clothes or nice dress clothes to be able to go on an interview, or for where they're doing a co-op program where they may be, volunteering in different things. And it's just, there's needs out there. I know with inflation and increased prices of rent and all these kind of things, I know what you're talking about. I knew of a family the other day that, their rent doubled, single mom, raising 4 or 5 kids by herself, and you all of a sudden rent doubles, and you take that extra money that she had before for food and everything. It can put folks into a crisis.
Yeah.
This program is just amazing, and I'm so thankful y'all are doing it. And I know Corby King and the school administration are behind this 100%. You have a good working relationship, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like she mentioned, we work very heavily with the Family Resource Center. They're the group that inside the school system that will get the requests from guidance counselors when there's an emergency kind of need that needs more than what the school can provide on site. And so they have that process. And what happens for us is when federal funding, when district funding can't help those students, that's when they fill a request to PEP. So we really want to be able to help in whatever circumstance that, and as you know, and I'm sure a lot of listeners, that if anybody works in government, they know that grant restrictions change.
From day to day sometimes.
It's literally day to day. And so giving them the flexibility to be able to serve a family regardless of whatever comes down from, you can buy this, but you can't buy that. You can do this, but you can't do that. It gives them the flexibility to be able to serve more students. And that's the goal. And what we want to do as a board and with the working relationship is really encourage and build those community relationships through community engagement so that the district has our support as an organization, but also the community support in ways that they can actually tangibly do something right then, which I know Rachael mentioned our bin program. That's something that we're really going to push over the next year. You're going to see a lot more. It's our big blue bins. We've kind of talked about them in different ways. They were at Christmas in the Park. They were at the YMCA, and the YMCA did an amazing job collecting food this year. I really want to give them a huge round of applause. Their constituents, they blew it out of the park, refilling stuff. And so we have lots of opportunities for the community to get involved and not just monetarily, but physically do something at their place of business or where they work or with a group or a community service group. So we really are working to increase that. And Mr. King is also a member of our board as well. And so it's great to be able to have that relationship and work alongside the district in that capacity.
Yeah,
go ahead, Rachel.
Both in terms of understanding the need, right? They're right there, district leadership, but then also principals. We have great relationships with them, with the counselors. So there's a flow through of understanding the need and then a trust. I think the community can trust, again, just that we know the need and we know the best way to get the needs met effectively, efficiently.
Yeah, and having all those relationships inside the schools with the counselors and principals, they may know of a need that family or that child would never say anything, but they may know of that need, and that person can get them help. And you can actually, if a family or someone wants to sign up for the backpack program, they can actually do that online.
They can do that online. They can go to our website, once again, peptn.org, PEPTN.org. And there's an application under the backpack section of the webpage, and they can enroll there. They can also talk to their guidance counselor. I think a lot of times families are sometimes afraid to do that, but they shouldn't be. They're non-judgmental. They are not going to turn anybody in. They're there to help you.
That's right.
So if you are in need, if your family's in need, if you're struggling to provide food or clothing, that's available to you, and you need to know that and not be afraid to ask for it. The process, not only for backpack, for anything, it is completely confidential.
Yeah.
So, I don't even know, honestly, I don't know the students' names I'm the executive director, and I do not know the students' names who are on the backpack program because that's kept in-house at the schools, the way that we do it. And so for us, we don't see that information.
And you don't care.
And we don't care. It doesn't matter.
You're just there to help.
We know that they have vetted the situation and the process to know that the person's in need, and we are there to help, and we would love for community members to come alongside us and continue to help in those and fill those those needs as well.
Oh, that's great. It's a great program. Tell everybody once more. Let's make sure they know how they can donate or help. And you're not just looking for individuals. You're looking for businesses that are other nonprofit organizations. Anybody that wants to help or donate, tell them how they do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as like community collaboration with other nonprofits, we've worked with multiple. I mean, I just mentioned the YMCA. The YMCA helped us collect food. They're also a nonprofit. Highlands Economic. They obviously serve some of the same students through their economic leadership cohorts and groups and things like that. And so they collected food for us as well. And, we have a good working relationship with them. We also work to meet needs with the charitable foundation. If they're medical or dental, we work alongside anytime there's a student in the home, John Belta Foundation at CRMC, to meet those needs. So we have great relationships with other nonprofits, and we're all really, and I love Cookeville for that.
It's a community.
It is a community. And
what was it, Katelyn? Cookeville Strong?
Yeah, just I love bringing people together. So it makes me excited to be able to see that happening and people working together. And if others want to get involved or they have a business that wants to do something, they can always reach out on our website. Like I mentioned, we have the bin program, which is just where you adopt a bin at your business, and we promote it, you promote it, and help us meet a need. So one of the things I think we're going to do pretty soon is snack food, because snack food is huge for families. So that's some of the ways you can do that.
And if they want to donate, it's peptn.org, right?
That's right. Yep.
PEPTN.org. Folks, this is a great program. If you'd like to help, it's helping our school students that have difficulties. And I appreciate what y'all do. This is a great program. Thank both of you for what you do, and if we can help any way, you let us know.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hey, that's our show for this week. Hope you join us every weekend for Today in Putnam County on all the Zimmer family of radio stations. I'm County Mayor Randy Porter. Hoping you have a great rest of your weekend, a blessed new year, and join us next week.
You've been listening to Today in Putnam County, hosted by Putnam County Mayor Randy Porter.